Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Bankers Help series. First of all, special thanks for loving this series a lot, and I hope you will like today's episode as well. The case which we are discussing in today's episode will be an eye-opener for most of you bankers. Now, if you have missed the previous episodes of this Bankers Help series, then you can watch them from the links given in description of this video. Last but not the least, if you want more such episodes, then do like this video and also subscribe to this channel. Friends, after the last episode, I received many emails from the bankers where they were asking for views and help. And one of such email is this, which I received from one of the branch manager working in a public sector bank. And with his permission and keeping the personal details hidden, I am making this video. So the mail of the branch head goes like this. Respected sir, around 6 months ago during a surprise cash verification by our vigilance officer, he found that after debit credit adjustment, cash was short by 1,20,000. During the day, our cashier had briefly left the branch with my verbal permission and returned later. By day end, cash was tallied with no discrepancy. Still, the vigilance officer marked it as unauthorized use of funds and theft. And now both of us have been penalized with one increment down. And recently the bank filed an FIR too because matter was referred to RBI fraud risk management. सर, दिल से डर लग रहा है कि मेरी पूरी ईमानदारी पर सवाल उठ गया है. I have always maintained integrity and followed my duties diligently. Kindly guide me on whether this action is justified and how I should prepare for what lies ahead. Sincerely, Branch Head. Now friends, I will respond to this query in 4 parts. First is, was the regional office correct in penalizing the branch head and cashier? Then second important question is, why did the bank file an FIR later? Then third is, what's the future of the case now? And lastly, what can every banker learn from this? So if you want to know the answer of all these questions and prepare yourself for situations like these during your career, then do watch this video till end. Now friends, before moving ahead with the video, don't forget to get my latest book, The Fearless Banker, which is specially designed for all the bankers irrespective of their cadre. Now this is a very special book. If you have ever faced a deceased account settlement, a nominee dispute, problematic bank guarantee, or a loan proposal that look perfect on paper but smells wrong, then this book is your answer. Friends, The Fearless Banker is not just theory. It's a 39 practical case studies with step-by-step solution to the toughest branch situations. Whether it's customer anger, locker complication, or legal notices. With the help of case studies, this book will show you exactly what to say, write, and do in a tough situations at the branch. It's not just a textbook, it's your branch side mentor. So don't wait for the next panic situation. In fact, be ready. Link is there in description of this video. Order now and become the confident, fearless banker you were always meant to be. So next, let's move forward with our video. So was the regional office correct in penalizing the branch head and cashier? And friends, the short answer for this question is yes. Friends, the disciplinary action of regional office, that is reduction of one increment, is procedurally justified under bank's discipline and appeal rules. Let's understand this from legal and operational angles. First is, please note, cash management is a sensitive area under vigilance scope. Friends, according to the Central Vigilance Commission, that is CVC guidelines, and many RBI's master direction on frauds, cash handling frauds under highly sensitive operation in bank branches. So any deviation from standard procedure can trigger disciplinary and vigilance action even without proven monetary loss. Please note, surprise cash verification is treated as an integrity check mechanism for the banks. In the case given, at the moment of surprise checking, there was a cash shortage of 1,20,000. So as per bank norms, any shortage of cash must be immediately reported and investigated even if tallied later. Then second angle to the case is violation of custodianship and security protocol. Friends, this incident reveals multiple breaches. First is the cashier left the branch for some brief time with cash remaining open in the branch. Then next is the branch had gave verbal or informal permission for the movement. And lastly, no handover, no dual custody and no documentation. Now these are the major procedural lapses. Please note, as per most banks' cash management SOPs, even leaving cash unattended with verbal permission is a serious violation. Thus, under this rule of discipline and appeal rules, the punishment of one increment down is fairly reasonable or nominal. Or in fact nominal, seeing the negligence of duty, procedural lapse and breach of trust. Friends, disciplinary penalties don't always require criminal intent. Even lapses of supervision or omission are enough. Next comes, why did the bank file an FIR later? Friends, bank has already imposed the penalty of one increment down. But why did the bank went to RBI and made the matter worse for these two bankers? So let's break this down clearly. First is, and please note, it was mandated by RBI. Now, RBI's Master Circular on Frauds requires mandatory FIR if misappropriation or criminal breach of trust is suspected, even temporarily. In this case, the shortage of 1,20,000, which is significantly above the threshold, and as per RBI guidelines, any individual fraud case of rupees 1 lakh and above must be reported to the concerned regional office of RBI within 3 weeks of detection. Not only this, the bank is also required to report the matter to the police or the CBI depending upon the amount and level of staff involved. Therefore, once the vigilance officer recorded the shortage, the bank had no choice but to classify it as a fraud and report it to the RBI. The referral to the Fraud Risk Management Department of RBI and the subsequent FIR was procedural compulsions. Had the regional office not done this, then the bank could have even faced regulatory penalties from the RBI for not doing so. And second reason for filing FIR was that the legal provisions apply here. Friends, IPC Section 403 defines temporary misappropriation as criminal. Then next, under Section 409, bankers misusing public money can face up to 10 years imprisonment. So the argument that the books were tallied at the day end is irrelevant to the constitution of the crime itself. And that's because the crime was completed the moment the funds were dishonestly taken without authority. And we are saying this since the vigilance officer's report described it as unauthorized use or theft. And the FIR is therefore accurate in the eyes of law. Next friends, before moving ahead with the video, here's something you simply cannot afford to miss. If you are serious about clearing the CIB exam in your very first attempt, then these two resources are your game changers. Now first is set of 4 books, which is 1000 series chapter wise question banks. Now friends, this is not just any set of questions. In fact, it's a carefully curated exam focused question banks aligned chapter by chapter with the CIB syllabus. You will get comprehensive practice of case studies, numericals as well as conceptual questions. This set of 4 books has already helped hundreds of bankers crack the exam with confidence and precision. Then this second set of books is the complete CIB summary notes. Friends, with the vast CIB syllabus and your limited time, you need laser sharp revision ready notes. These summarized notes cut through the clutter and give you what actually matters. That is concept clarity, exam recall and last minute revision power. Now as you know, your time is limited but your ambition is not. These books are crafted to help you finish strong, revise fast and clear the exam with confidence. I update these books after every 6 months, so always get updated editions. Now you can get any of these books from the links given in description of this video. So give yourself the edge you deserve. Next, let's move forward with our video. The next important question is, what's the future of the case now? Now friends, unfortunately, the future of the branch head and cashier is full of challenges. First, let's see with respect to criminal investigation. Now here the police will investigate the matter, they will collect evidence, include the vigilance report, statements of the vigilance officer, the head cashier and other staff, and will also question the branch head and the cashier. And if the police finds sufficient evidence to suggest dishonest intent, then they will file a charge sheet in the court. If evidence supports misappropriation, then charges under IPC 409 and 120B, that is criminal conspiracy, may be filed. The case will then proceed to trial. The prosecution will have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the accused has a dishonest intent. The fact that the cash was tallied by the day end will be a mitigating factor during sentencing. But it does not free them of the charge itself. The oral permission given by the branch head to cashier to leave will be a key point of investigation and also in establishing a potential conspiracy. Then next, with respect to departmental action, it's final for now. The penalty of withholding one increment has already been awarded. However, if the bankers are convinced in criminal case, the bank has the right to review the penalty and could even take harsher action, including dismissal from the service based on the court's judgment. Lastly friends, even if acquitted, unless it's an honorable acquittal, career setbacks are certain. First, there will be hurdle in promotions. Then second, there may be no sensitive postings. And lastly, a permanent vigilance record may be put in the name of both the bankers. So what was my straightforward reply to the branch head? Friends, I told him one simple thing. If you haven't done anything wrong, then there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Yes, the next few months, maybe even years, might be mentally draining. But remember what our judiciary system stands for. You are innocent until proven guilty. Unless there's concrete evidence, nothing substantial can come out of any investigation. And then the branch head also asked me, what about my image, my reputation? To that, I said, don't worry about what people will say. In banking circle, your work speaks louder than any rumor. Your colleagues, your staff, and even your seniors, they already know who's honest and who's not. A single vigilance report won't change that perception. I have seen this in my own career. Honest officers getting dragged into inquiries just because someone has misused their CBS ID or their name appeared on a register somewhere. But did we stop trusting them? No. We knew who they were, and most of the staff stood by them. So friends, if your intent is clean, your track record speaks for itself. The system may test you, but your truth will protect you. Finally comes the most important question. What can every banker learn from this? Friends, I always say, let's not fear the system. Let's master it. And the first thing, whenever there is surprise checks, immediately halt the transactions. Count cash with vigilance or audit officer present in front. And finally, record that they have verified the cash in register and preserve the evidence. Next, what if the custodian leaves? So, if the situation occurs when custodian or cashier wants to leave, then first of all, document a formal handover. Also ensure dual custody of the cash or vault. And finally, get this recorded in a key transfer register. It's very important. Whenever cashier is going on leave, bankers simply give the keys to next cashier very casually. But please note, frauds don't happen daily or monthly. They happen rarely, and when they happen, your whole reputation is lost. Then next is very important, and that's for branch head's role. Friends, if you are a branch head, never give oral approvals or permissions, and always have a proper documentation for those. Next, always log permissions in writing, and lastly, enforce strict joint custodianship norms. Lastly, friends, remember these golden rules. First is, don't adjust cash temporarily. Next, don't ignore deviations even if the person is senior. Next is, don't treat surprise checks lightly. They are in fact for your safety only. And lastly, if you are the branch head, then every 2 or 3 months, make your teller or cashier go on 3 or 4 day leave or change his seat for some days. Friends, with this I can recall one incident, and in one of such rural branch incident, cashier used to give money on interest to some of his friends during the day. Say in the morning he used to give cash on interest to someone, and by evening the money was returned and he would tally the cash by day end and close the teller account. So technically the cash would always tally at the day end. But during the day, public funds were being misused. But he was caught by careful noticing and monitoring of the branch head only. Branch head noticed most cashiers are always in hurry to close the cash and leave the branch fast. But this person is never in hurry and in fact closes the cash by 6 or 6:30 p.m. Then the branch head got smart, and one day during lunch, he asked the cashier to tally the cash midday and hand over the charge to another teller. And that's when the fraud came to light. Now, moral of the story is sometimes the fraud doesn't show up in balance sheet. It shows up in the behavior. So friends, if you are an officer or branch head or even a clerk, then learn to observe the patterns around you. Observe habits, and that's where the red flags often hide. So friends, with this I wind up today's video. I hope you understood this complex case. In short, the zonal office or regional office was right in their decision and the disciplinary action was justified. And once this vigilance report reached RBI and got classified as fraud, then FIR became inevitable. And to every banker watching, please understand, in banking, it's not just about honesty, it's about documenting that honesty. Lastly friends, if you are preparing for CIB, then don't miss to get your resources from the links given in description of this video. Both this summarized note set and question bank set are all what you need to clear this important examination. So thank you, and I will meet you again in another video.